And then we go into the penalty kicks, and it's like up and down, up and down. And then, when Montiel hits it, it was Andres Cantor, the broadcaster, trying to compose himself, and Andres Cantor, the human being, the Argentinian fan, expressing with a microphone in front of a worldwide audience his feelings. I had waited 36 years for Argentina to win the World Cup, and I will always said, how nice would it be that I am able to capture that moment. I didn't think too much of it, but there I was.
It's Rog, and I'm here with, I was going to say the voice of a generation, but I would honestly be selling him short, because this man's singular pipes have provided the soundtrack for multiple generations of football fans in this nation. He's covered 10 straight World Cups, picking up 7 Emmys along the way, and teaching us how truly infectious and emotional and deeply human this sport that we love is at its core. A sports anchor for Telemundo, going on for 24 years. He's been in The Simpsons. His voice is available for purchase as a ringtone. He first called a game on American airwaves in 1987, 36 years ago. Honestly seen this sport from the inside for decades, its twists, its turns, its soaring growth. As we charge into the 2026 World Cup, this gent's signature bellow is the thing most associated with football in this country, the singular goal call, soccer bird song, kin to the most beautiful warble of a wood thrush. Oh, welcome back, King of Telemundo, it's Mr. Andres Cantor.
You made me cry, Rog. Now, do I have to say anything else now, or what?
We're done. It's all
We're
true,
done.
though, Andres.
Thank you.
It is. You are that man. You are. You know you're that man, right?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that very kind introduction. As a matter of fact, I realized yesterday when it became the 34th year anniversary of the shot heard around the world, that I was there covering the U.S. beat Trinidad to go to Italy 90. And, I said to myself, wow, that is a long time I've been doing this. Yeah, honestly, I mean, that crossed my mind because I remember vividly that trip, which was pretty much one of my first major international trips as a broadcaster. I said, wow, I have it vivid in my memory. And it's been 34 years.
Andres is talking about the moment the United States re-qualified for the World Cup just before 1990 for the first time in 40 years. But when I read those things to you, does it move you? Are you aware of the status that you do hold in this nation as just the undisputed straight line in this incredible period of growth for the game we love in the nation we adore? You are that man.
It does move me, Rog. I can't, pretend that I'm a man with ice in my veins. It does move me. I reflect and look back at all the World Cups and all the games that I've done. And I always said the same thing, and I tell this to Nico, my son, who is in the business as well. Every time I go into a major game or any game really for that matter, and I sit in the best seat in the house with the responsibility of calling the game, I honestly pinch myself and I say I'm truly blessed because I love the game as much as you do, and I get to sit in the best seat in the house I have been for the last 30 plus years, and that is it moves me.
I want to talk about some of these moments because we're not just talking about the longitude of your service. When you sit in that best seat in the house, we all sit alongside you. And by we, I mean millions who love this game. And we are on the precipice of just a remarkable time. We are on the precipice of the promised land, football 2026, about to go over the top. And I do want to go back to the beginning because your journey does begin in your beloved Argentina, where you were born. Reigning World Cup champion Argentina, I should say, who will visit Brazil in World Cup qualifying Tuesday night, surely the biggest game to watch this international break. The rivalry which defines a continent, Argentina-Brazil, Tuesday, November 21st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Telemundo and Universo, but we'll come back to that because I want to start a little closer to home, Andres, or your new home, Because after growing up outside of Los Angeles, you made your home in Miami for decades, that capital of the Caribbean, the lush, languid beach town, the city which Lionel Messi built. Andres, take me back. Where were you? What went through your mind when you learned that Messi, the greatest player to ever kick a soccer ball, would become, well, essentially your neighbour?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I knew it was happening unofficially. And in the day off, I had scheduled for a long time an interview with Apple for a Messi documentary that will come up right before the beginning of next season.
You and me both, Andres.
Yeah, the one about him in Qatar and his family and so forth. So I go. I believe the interview was set for 2 o'clock. It was a remote location. They had big production like you can imagine. So I went in and literally, I mean, I usually put the phone on mute or on silence. This time I just switched it off completely because I have on my favorites, I have my family, some friends, and I said if this is happening today, that thing's gonna start ringing off the hook. So I just switched it off, and they interviewed me for about really, I don't know, hour and a half. So when we finished and I turned the phone on, it was a Christmas tree. It was like I had messages from everybody, and that's where I found out that I became official. So it was kind of ironic that I was talking about him for this documentary while the news was breaking that he was coming to Miami.
How did you feel in that moment?
I thought it was great to have, a world champion play here in our backyard, but a world champion, removed 4 or 5 months from winning the World Cup. One thing is to say that you have, I don't know, a former a 2014 World Cup champion coming into your town, but this was when did they announce it? April, I believe, or May. So this was like 5 months removed from him lifting the trophy in his prime, about to win the championship in France. So this was, I mean, besides the fact that Messi is always a big deal, this was a big deal.
When you talked about him winning the trophy, my mind, obviously, like the rest of the world, went to the League's Cup. I had to remind myself you meant the World Cup. But have you bumped into him at the supermarket at Publix yet?
No, he lives a little bit far away from where I live. I have not bumped into Publix, uh, him into Publix. But hopefully I'll bump into him soon. I bumped into him in February before all of this in Paris when FIFA invited me to present an award at the best. I was backstage and was able to say hello and take a quick picture. And that's the only one I have with him. I have never met him personally or professionally. I've never done an interview or a mixed zone interview. So we're trying to get him to sit down and talk to us.
Yeah, how have you experienced it all? Every last minute Messi free kick or gasp inducing run, racking up millions of views. Suddenly, instead of looking out at the world of football, the world of football is looking at you, at your city, your town, the team in pink that live next to you. Can you describe that sensation of Miami suddenly being the center of the footballing world?
Sure. Well, he started playing, as we all know, the League's Cup, which was in the summer. I happened to be in Australia, New Zealand for the FIFA Women's World Cup. And it was like mid-morning, the times of the game, because of the time difference, was great because we didn't have games to broadcast until the night. So it was perfect for us because, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30. And the day of his games, our Telemundo crew came down for breakfast late, or if we had anything planned that day, we planned it after the Messi game. So here we are in the other side of the world watching an Inter Miami game just because of the fact that Messi is playing. Otherwise, I mean, I love Inter Miami, but don't get me wrong, I don't think I was gonna be around to watch in Australia, a League Cup game against Cruz Azul without Messi.
That's amazing. Yes, the bottom team in MLS playing the bottom team in Liga MX, and there you were up in the middle of the night feasting upon it. I mean, that is the symbol of the transformation that this man brought. Lionel Messi, MLS employee. I mean, a gent with beard hair older than the 3-year-old Inter Miami, and he immediately transformed this club, transformed the entire league. How closely did you follow it? Did you go to the games? What did you make of the circus that ensued, both culturally but also footballingly?
Yeah, I think he has and will continue to have a tremendous impact in the league itself, around the world. The MLS has suddenly become a household name, or at least Inter Miami has. After coming back from the World Cup, I had to go to Italy twice within a month for different weddings. And in both of those instances, just roaming around the cities, suddenly I see kids and grown men with the pink Inter Miami jersey, with obviously Messi and the number 10 in the back. And that is just simply incredible. He will continue to have an impact in this city. He has turned it around. I mean, this city has become Messi crazy. He can go anywhere. I mean, other than that first day when he went to the supermarket, when everything was kind of fresh, Rog. People didn't know. Oh yeah, Messi came, but then suddenly they see him, buying cereal for his kids. That was like
Lucky Charms.
That was super crazy. But yeah, I mean, and we're all watching his games. I will try to go as many as I can next season for sure.
I mean, it is amazing. He's 36, going to be 37. Obviously injured down the stretch, and Inter Miami suffered in his absence. Playing alongside, he's got the band back together. Jordi Alba, Busquets, Luis Suarez, dangling the possibility of his arrival. These old guys getting the gang back on the football field. How do you project it going forward? I mean, he's not a young Messi anymore, far from it. There is a wear and tear Messi. There is an exhaustion Messi. He obviously preserves himself unbelievably on the field, energy-wise. He'll stroll around and then just become, in key moments, just an absolute viper. Project forward what we can expect in season 2.
Everything you said obviously is true. He will be 37 June 24th in the middle of the season next year. But I think there is a distinct difference that has to correlate between age and pressure. He has won it all. He has taken off a chip off his back. I mean, a heavy backpack off his back by winning first Copa America and winning the World Cup. So now he is playing and enjoying his playing time. Not that he hasn't enjoyed it before, but before, was a pressure cooker like everyone that plays in a major league in Europe. It was, Sunday league play where you're gonna lose points. Wednesday, European football or domestic cup. And it was just nonstop. And you know that he doesn't like to sit on the bench too often. So here he's enjoying his life. He's enjoying seeing his kids in the box, next to him. He's enjoying being able to go to the supermarket from time to time, or to a restaurant, or to a Maluma concert. This is, I have not, or at least I don't remember, because people do follow him around, but I do not remember in 20 years of Barcelona him having such a social life as he's having here in Miami. We've seen
such a public life.
Yeah, public life, and a regular life. Like, we've seen him from going to get cereal for his kids at a supermarket, to a couple of concerts, to having dinner with David Beckham and Busquets and Jorge Mas, the owner. We seen him go to Naples, which is 2 hours away from Miami, like every single father of a young kid did, because usually they play tournaments in Naples to watch his son play a little league tournament. So he's living as close as a normal life that the biggest superstar in the world can live, and he's enjoying that part. And I think that will carry him through more than if he were 37 playing under the pressure cooker that is the European leagues.
God, yeah, I was going to say, those are some of the most joyous shots of the year for me, watching Messi at his kids' games, just reveling in them. Messi, soccer dad, in the jorts. It's an amazing thing to watch. And that joy off the field translating to just freedom and joy on it. Long may it last. I do need to ask you, because when he did become injured down the stretch, missed the trip to play Atlanta United in a key MLS game, he then ordered a pizza pie. That was his way of saying, I'm not with the team. I'm actually at home. I'm ordering pizza, if we can call it pizza, because he posted on Instagram his order from Bancheros, which to me, pizza purists maybe, look like a mess of raw onions and tomatoes and then some more onions. Some would say it's less a pizza, Andres, more a crime against humanity. Can you give us your verdict, yay or nay, on the Messi pizza? Because I think this is where we may find out that Andres is a Bancheros regular. What did you think of Messi's pizza order?
Don't get me going, Rog, because you have to have a cultural knowledge of Argentinian pizza. I'm not a regular of Banchero, but I go often. Banchero is a very traditional pizza chain in Argentina, which was founded in La Boca, and where all Boca Juniors fans go before or after the matches to have a slice or two of pizza. He happened to order.
Football was amazing. Let's have a crap pizza just to bring us
No,
down.
it's not crap. So I'm gonna put this on the record, and we can archive it. He ordered.
Please.
Because I went immediately the day after all of this, after the Pizzagate, I went over to Banchero with an Argentinian shirt with the 3 stars. I put it next to the most traditional pizza of that place, and I tagged Atlanta United and said, hey, look at the 3 stars and ask Thiago Almada if he likes this pizza. So anyways, that day I found out that he ordered like 12 pies pre-cooked and empanadas and a whole bunch of things, because he had his family over, and so they took him like 10 to 12 pre-cooked pizzas so he could put in the oven and finish himself. And I guess he chose, I don't know, the first one that was on top of the stack and just pictured it. And then everything happened. But Argentinian pizza is very good. Banchero is one of the best. And there's the story.
I stand corrected. When I'm next in Miami, Andres, you, me, Bancheros, we will go. I would. It's on me. I insist, though. But I will say, I like to think when you saw Messi open that pizza box so slowly on Instagram, inside your head, I like to think of Andres, like when you see a goal, you just shout out, go, you know how you do in your long drawn out way. I like to think you just go through life shouting out all the nouns, and you just look at it and you're just like, pizza! That to you is the perfect pizza.
I was amazed, honestly. I keep being amazed on how humble he is. I mean,
Yes.
and I know the story behind the delivery. Somebody called and ordered 12 pizzas, and they said it's for Messi, and one of the owners of the place went over just to make sure it was, and definitely it was. And then he didn't ask for Messi to post anything. He just posted it out of his goodwill and heart, just like it was like an association. I'm drinking mate right now. It's like an Argentine association, an Argentine cultural identity. This is my drink of every morning and every afternoon, but it's also part of our cultural identity. And so is Banchero. Banchero is a very well-known brand, so he felt like saying, hey, I'm in Miami. There's lots of pizza places, but I'm eating Banchero, which is ours, Argentinian.
God, I love it. It's a connection to home. It'd be like me getting in New York City, fish and chips from the Hunts
Exactly.
Cross Supper Bar. As you say, you are drinking mate, the preferred drink of seemingly every elite South American footballer. Quickly, what is the secret to a good mate, Andres?
The secret is making sure that the water is at the right temperature. You cannot boil the water, so you have to have you have to have a kettle that will not boil the water, and the good yerba,
185 degrees.
the leaves, the brand. I mean, I like a certain brand, but obviously that is a good secret. And just taking your time and have a good time. Let's see if you can see the man here. You see, there he is.
God, oh my God!
When I pour water, you see, I see the three stars. There you go. I see the three
Amazing.
stars. I put the water. I put the thermos down, and I see Messi, and I say, "Wow, this is gonna be a good mate."
Well, I am going to start drinking mate from now on, and I'm going to have Dwight McNeil on the side of my water can. But let's talk about the construct of this journey. Today is obviously a year since the World Cup started, the 2022 one, and it was really a culmination for you of your Argentinian journey. 2022 champions last winter, bringing Argentina's tally all time to 3 glorious victories, and you've witnessed them all. First came at home in 1978. You were lucky enough to be there. I think you were like 13, 14. It's like Argentina of Mario Kempes, of Ardiles, the stadium exploding with confetti whenever the team took the field. A very different time. Argentina then under the military dictatorship of the junta. Take me back. What is your most defining memory of 1978, that glory?
There are two really. The game against Peru in Rosario, Argentina was
Crazy.
yeah. Argentina was supposed to. I mean, was supposed. Nobody's supposed to win anything, but we all counted that Argentina was going to win its group and stay in Buenos Aires, and they finished second after losing to Italy. So they had to play their second round matches in Rosario, which is about 3 hours away, and they needed to beat Peru by 4 goals, and that was a tough game, which Argentina ended up winning 6-0. And I remember vividly the relief we all got when Argentina scored the second goal at the whistle, almost right before halftime. And
Yeah,
that, you know,
yeah.
that,
By the way,
uh,
listeners, Google this because I watched that wide-eyed at home. Watching, they had to win by 4. They ended up winning by 6. They were slightly helped by the goalkeeper Quiroga, who I believe was born in Argentina originally. Who would rush out of his goal, actually fouled somebody in the opponent's half for no reason. That is how Peru played this game. Slightly match fixy, but it was delirious to watch for your nation.
wait. Let's put the record straight. I don't remember that play. I do remember vividly. If
Quiroga,
you think
the
there is
goalkeeper, he was
anything,
amazing.
if you think there was something weird about that game,
Yes.
and I'm not implying anything, but in a fixed match, you don't have the opponent hit the post twice. The the balls that hit the post. I mean, if you're saying that the goalkeeper went outside his box to foul somebody purposely, the the
Outside
player.
into the opponent's half. Just Andres, he fouled somebody in the opposition half.
Okay,
He kept pushing up. It was
I
amazing.
don't
I
remember that,
love
but
you.
I do
I
remember
love
the.
25 years on. Andres Cantor is setting the record straight though. It wasn't match fixing. It was a great night for young Andreas Cantor, which is ultimately the important
No,
thing, right?
Rog. What I'm saying, I mean, I've been around enough. You don't have the opponent hit the post twice in a game that you might suspect is kind of funny. If those balls you can clearly throw up in the stands, and Peru almost scored twice. They hit the post and another one the crossbar. So if they would have put those goals in, Argentina would have needed to beat them by even more. So there, the record straight.
The Peru team of the great Cubillas. What was your second memory?
The final, definitely the final, and
You
it
were
was a
there.
great match. Argentina, I think, outplayed the Netherlands. It was a tough match, and then I don't remember it because I was way up in the stands. But then I found out about it. The ball that hit the post that almost won the World Cup for the Netherlands towards the end.
Resenbrink late on, late on, hit the post when it would
Yeah,
have made it
yeah.
2-1 to the Netherlands.
I was in the last row on the opposite end, way up in the stadium as a fan, and I remember something happened, and I remember the silence that suddenly the stadium became silent at once, like it was a big, and then there was a big gasp of relief, like, and but then I watched the clips on the newscast and saw how close they came, just as much as Kolo Muani came to winning the World Cup for France in Qatar.
The second win, 1986, the first tournament you covered as a journalist. I think a precocious 23-year-old. That was the year of Diego Armando Maradona, and you were in the stadium again for his hand of God, and then the FIFA goal of the century against England. Was it any different watching as an accredited member of the press? Do you scream in the press box, Andres, or do you contain yourself professionally?
No. I mean, I was covering for Argentina that World Cup, which was my first World Cup, as you said, as an accredited journalist. So, usually, even though we try to be as objective as we can, we were all rooting for Argentina. That was a big game that, as you all know, had a lot of political connotations because of the Falkland Island War, because of all what Diego had been saying and this and that. So in the second goal, we all, I was sitting with the Argentine contingency up in the press box, and we all hugged and cried like, we had just witnessed the birth of our child. We were all hugging and crying and celebrating a freaking football goal, which happened to be, like you said, the FIFA goal, FIFA World Cup goal of the century.
Yeah, moments of darkness, moments of beauty, those are the ones you remember most profoundly, and that is the gift that football ultimately gives you. But it took 36 and a half long years for you again. Many near misses, many incredible Argentinian teams, some lean years as well. Decades later, though, you were there in person, 2022, to watch Argentina do it again. And one of many things I admire and love about you, Andres, is just how wondrously, openly, authentically emotional you are. I admire it greatly. Your every breath drips with passion. Can you put into words the journey to the final, that march step by step, while you were at the mic? What was that like from the false start of the Saudi Arabian game all the way to the brink of the final?
Yeah, it was. I usually, Rog, I always get asked before every World Cup, so what do you think about Argentina? And I always say I would be a hypocrite. I'm on record since 1990 with this answer, that I would be a hypocrite if I say that I don't want Argentina to win. So I go into a World Cup, as every Argentinian does, with the expectations of Argentina winning the World Cup. I mean, there is nothing else for Argentinian fans. It's not reaching the final. It's going to the World Cup and winning it. I usually go with expectations. Sometimes I go with high expectations. Sometimes I go with no expectations. In Russia, for example, I knew that team wasn't going to go anywhere. So my expectations were like medium or even pretty much none. Come this World Cup, this is a true story. Nico, my son, before going over to Qatar, says, you know what? I'm kind of tired of being emotionally vested either in the US or Argentina, more in Argentina than in the US, because, the US is not expected to win the World Cup. So I'm not gonna. I don't have any expectations. So I told Nico before going to Qatar, I think we have a chance. Don't get your expectations way high, but if there is a chance, it's this one. We had a 36 match unbeaten streak going into the first match against Saudi Arabia, and then shit happens. And it's like, what? It's like, boom, slap in the face, big time, but big time, because we didn't lose to England, the opening match. We didn't lose to, I don't know, whoever. We lost to Saudi Arabia. We lost a 36 match unbeaten streak against Saudi Arabia, of all countries. So reality set in, and then, you go into the Mexico game. For me, obviously, for obvious reasons, knowing that 70% of my viewing audience is Mexican, that is the most difficult match to broadcast. So I think I went into cryotherapy for 16 hours. I had hypothermia right before the match because I tried to be as calm, cool, and collected as I could be. And then for an hour, Argentina's on the brink of going home. In 5 days, Raj, in 5 days. And I had told my son, forget about everything that you said in the intro. I was on the record with my son about a week ago, telling him, have a little bit of hope. I think we can win this thing. And here we are, minute 59th of the second game, and Argentina is on the brink of, if Mexico would have scored, we would have been out in 5 days. Talk about credibility. Oh yeah, I'm the son of the guy that told me Argentina had a chance, and they exited the World Cup in 5 days. So anyways, that was a tough moment. Then Australia was
My Dad, the Imposter by
Yeah.
Nico Cantor.
And then Australia was okay, but we had that major save at the end by Dibu Martinez, to avoid going into overtime. The Netherlands match was one of those matches that you say, how could this happen? I mean, we outplayed them badly and this happened. And then, the Croatia semifinal was probably the easiest one for Argentina. And we all got relieved because we knew that Argentina was, as soon as the game started and progressed, we knew that Argentina wasn't going to lose that match. And then the roller coaster of the final. I do not remember, I don't think you don't even remember a final that was so emotionally charged, whether you were Argentina or French, it didn't matter. It was one team.
It was mind blowing.
Yeah, they outplayed France for 79 minutes. I don't remember in all the World Cups that I've done and all the film that I watched of prior ones of a team outplaying another finalist so badly as Argentina did France for 79 minutes.
It was like 1974. It was like Netherlands and West Germany, just the Netherlands just destroying them, but forgetting to finish them off in many ways. I think it's a great final. There's the Florida Cup, Everton winning this final slightly just behind that. But in my mind, and millions around the world, you, Andres, are utterly synonymous with Argentinian victory. A bit like Salt Bay, but in a good way. Thanks to the clip of you that's gone viral. You, at the final whistle, when Argentina scored the winning penalty, after that insane, chaotic, just exquisitely transcendent back and forth 3-3 draw with defending champion France of Mbappe. You burst into tears live on air, and that's why I walk you through, listeners, the 1978 win through the eyes of Andres, the 1986 win through the eyes of Andres. That's what we had built up to. You burst into tears live on air, just hoarse with screaming. Argentina, champions of the world. Argentina, champions of the world. Andres, take me back to this moment. What were you experiencing? What was going through your head?
I was dying, Raj. I was dying because of the roller coaster of emotions I felt from the minute 79th to the last penalty kick. After 79 minutes, I could not believe what I was seeing. I mean, Argentina was outplaying France, and I didn't want to. There were 11 minutes left of a World Cup final. I didn't want to get ahead of myself and think otherwise. I had to concentrate on calling the match. And then obviously France ties it, and inside of me I'm saying, how could this happen? How could this be? We were 11 minutes away from winning handedly the World Cup. How did this happen? So I had to compose myself, go into overtime. Messi scores the 3-2. I'm saying, okay, hold on, there's still time left, and try to compose myself. But, there's a process of something that is like the anxiety that I felt inside, and the fact that the game was back and forth still, and then Mbappe with a penalty ties at 3-3, and then that last play that I did not watch film of the Kolo Muani because I was afraid that I might have messed up the play-by-play because I was so high, my emotions were like going through the roof. I was probably I wear and I watch, and before the start of the match, I think my heartbeat was at 72, 71, which is not bad for being in a World Cup final. I wish I could have see what it was when Kolo Muani had the winning shot, and I was so afraid I messed up the call that I didn't want to watch what I said until somebody posted it several months later. I saw or listened, I didn't need to see it, but I listened to what I said, and I didn't mess it up because I said France is going to win it, and then I said miraculous save by the goalkeeper. So I was like inside. The minute the ball goes over Otamendi's head, I'm dying, Rog. I'm dying inside because it was an open goal, and I knew France was going to score, and the dream was going to be shattered. Shattered. And then the save happens. And then on the counter-attack, Lautaro Martinez has the winning goal in his head. And then after that, Messi has that shot that Lloris stops. And then we go into the penalty kicks, and it's like up and down, up and down. And then, when Montiel hits it, it was Andres Cantor, the broadcaster, trying to compose himself, and Andres Cantor, the human being, the Argentinian fan, expressing with a microphone in front of a worldwide audience his feelings. And like I said, I'm not a hypocrite, and I had waited 36 years for Argentina to win the World Cup, and I will always said, how nice would it be that I am able to capture that moment. I didn't think too much of it, but there I was, and whatever people gathered on or saw from that clip is just authentic, and it's me in my human persona and my professional persona.
And just what were you aware of what you were saying in that moment?
No,
bellowing into the microphone, or were you just speaking in tongues?
No. In the minute, they also ask me if I rehearse phrases or if I have catchphrases that I prepare beforehand, and I always say that no, everything that comes out of my mouth has to be authentic and not improvised. So I don't know if people can relate to this, but the Argentinian chant song during the World Cup, which became like a folk song in Argentina and many parts of Latin America, Muchachos. I'm pretty sure people, if you hear the tune, will remember, the stadium singing Muchacho, has a line that says that Diego Maradona from the sky was going to help us win the third star. So when Montiel hits it, after saying Argentina champion of the world, this and that, I go into saying that Diego helped from the sky, but then I start naming all the other former Argentinian World Cup champions that have passed away, like Tata Brown, like Cuchufo, like Luque. So I remember, I don't know if I missed anybody, but I tried to embrace the Argentinian history of the World Cup through the players that had gotten us here, that have passed away. And, that was very emotional. And then I I said that Messi was champion of the world, that the Argentinian national team was champion of the world, and that Lionel Scaloni, which was so heavily criticized at the beginning of his tenure by all of us, was champion of the world. And there I handed off the mic to both Manolo Sol, my color commentator, and Vichy Borghi, which happened to be a World Cup champion himself in 1986, who was the guy that was pulling down on the tape.
Muchachos, in Argentina I was born, land of Diego and Lionel, of the children of Malvinas. That I will never forget. I can't explain it to you because you won't understand. But in that moment, you did explain it to us. You explained it to the world, Andres, and we did understand. Was any part of you thinking about your own arc? Little Andres, learning to kick a football the same week you learned to walk, going to your first game age 6, playing in games at San Marino High School, going home to write up the match report as the sports editor, having kids who've also gone into soccer broadcasting. Did you feel your whole life coming full circle in that moment?
Honestly, I did not. It's like after the fact, yes, it's like full circle. But full circle probably will be 2026 because obviously my career took off after the 1994 World Cup here in the US. And I believe, I'm not saying I'm retiring or that this will be my last World Cup. I'm not saying that. But I think full circle will come in 2026. But definitely after the fact, I said full circle in terms of Argentina. This was wonderful. Honestly, I was so moved. I'm going to, because I didn't know what I did afterwards. All I knew is that in the first commercial break, I video called my wife who was in Miami and started crying like a baby. And I'm going to post in the 1 year anniversary the footage from the GoPro that Telemundo had on me that gets my reaction as soon as we go to break. And I just like, whew, I lost it, when we went off air for a few minutes, I just lost it and started crying like a baby.
Yeah, which is what's so beautiful about football. By the way, listening to you talk about Argentina finally winning after 36 and a half years, I did feel projected. I was trying to imagine what I would feel if the United States, please God, in my lifetime, won the Men's World Cup, and projected through your emotions. That's what it would feel like. But that's what football reduces us to. You have seen millions of games. You've commented on millions of games. We're meant to become tired of it. We never become tired of it. It still does reduce us to tears, grown human beings. And your son Nico posted a beautiful video. He was on the sidelines for that game, for your radio station. Somehow broke through the intense Telemundo security, got into the booth with you. God bless him. Seeing you embrace, both break down into tears, father and son, sobbing in each other's arms. Truly poignant, beautiful, familial moment. That's the joy of football, the memories it makes between mothers, daughters, fathers, sons. I adored it. What did you say to each other? What was that like, hugging your boy after winning a World Cup that you, Andreas Cantor, a.k.a. Dad, exclusively predicted, but something he'd never seen before in his lifetime?
Yeah, and he saw it like you said, right up close up and personal, because he was right behind the goal where Messi celebrated with the fans, and the whole Argentinian national team celebrated with the fans. So he had an experience unlike any of us. I mean, the video footage that he has on his phone is like tremendous. And also, like you said, Rog, I have no idea to this day how in the hell he got up in the booth, to the booth, because there was a lot of security, but he found me. And if you listen carefully, first is just raw emotion. He surprised me. I didn't know. He texted me, where are you? I said, I wasn't in the booth. I was in the presentation. I had moved from the booth to the presentation studio. And he texted me like, I don't know, I give a moment, where are you? I said, at the presentation studio. Okay. That's all I told him. I didn't even know where I was taken by our own security guys and escorted, quickly to the presentation studio after I finished my the things I had to do on air in the press box. So I had no idea where that presentation studio was. So because we went inside, I didn't know whether it was on this side of the field or on that side of the field. And suddenly I see him walk in, and I just lost it. I'm lucky for, I don't know who recorded that video, honestly. When they saw him come in, and if you listen carefully, what I'm saying to him after we hug and cry together, I put my hand on his head, and I said, I told you to have faith. I told you this time to have faith. So here I am, from going to embarrassment if we had lost to Mexico as a World Cup predictor to now saying, I told you to have faith in Argentina. And we kept on hugging, and that was one of the most beautiful moments. And then when I hugged, my daughter was in the stands with some more friends and family, and we saw each other after the match in the parking lot, and that embrace with Andrea as well. It was like terrific because she has gone to the World Cups since 2006, and always stayed until the finals, and that was very, very emotional as well.
December 18th, the day Argentina won the World Cup. How will you mark the 1-year anniversary this year?
I think it was May, June, it doesn't matter, like mid 2022, my wife tells me, I'm going to throw a big, big birthday party for you, which is December 22nd, because you're turning 60. So I go to my wife, we've been married 34 years. What is it that you don't understand? I can't think of a birthday party 4 days after the final of the World Cup, because if we happen to get there and lose it, I'm not going to be in the mood for any party. But anyways, long story short, we did the party, and it wasn't a birthday celebration. It was Argentina winning the World Cup celebration. So having said this, I don't know if I'm going to celebrate my birthday, which is on the 22nd, or if I think I'm going to throw a party on the 18th just to celebrate the 1-year anniversary. I don't know what type of party it will be.
Is there a special bottle of Malbec that you put down or something that you'll be pulling out? A special cigar?
No, I just want a party.
Bancheros?
No. Yeah, Banchero could be a good place. As a matter of fact, I am pretty sure the Argentinian community is going to have something at a typical Argentinian place, like Banchero, like some other wherever they celebrated here in Miami the World Cup. I am pretty sure that it's going to be a big, big day on the 18th. So I have no idea, no plans yet, but I'm sure I will be part of the festivities wherever they are.
Before then, November 21st stands this enormous World Cup qualifier. Argentina head to Brazil, Telemundo, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A game, if it already isn't exquisite enough in terms of anticipation, that will be held at the Maracana, that 73-year-old footballing shrine in Rio. Lionel Messi knows it so well. It was at that stadium that he lost the 2014 World Cup final 1-0 to Germany in absolute agony that just haunted him for years. It was also at the Maracana that he won the Copa America in 2021, his first title with the Argentine national team, which really set the stage for the subsequent World Cup victory just a year later. For Lionel to return to the Maracana now, and you'll be commentating as a footballing king, Andres, against a Brazilian side in true flux. Can you talk about the symbolism of this moment? Many have described it almost as a footballing coronation for Lionel, going into a Brazilian home of football as an Argentine world champion.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely different. I think every World Cup qualifying game, I know. Every World Cup qualifying game that Messi is playing is his last. So this will be his last match in Brazil, in Maracanã. And there's another fact. Brazil, in the history of World Cup qualifying, has not lost a single World Cup qualifying match at home, whether it be the Maracanã or any other city or stadium. So I've know, like you said, that they won Copa America there, but it was during COVID. There were only 5,000 fans in the stands. And it was the turning point for the Argentinian national team going to great heights, like winning the World Cup. But this could be another first, and it could be a great way of going out and playing your last game at the shrine of Brazilian football if Argentina can beat Brazil for the first time in history of the World Cup qualifying tournaments.
There's talk in the South American papers that Messi will or possibly could receive a standing ovation from the Brazilian fans inside the Maracana. Will he, Andres? And if so, as an Argentine who understands the rivalry, understands the history, has lived it, what would that mean?
I highly doubt that will happen, even though Brazilians are a little bit more lax and relaxed than Argentinian fans. It would be impossible. I mean, I have a vivid memory, and I think you and your audience remembers that photo of Neymar talking to Messi in the tunnel after losing the final of Copa America. And everyone, I mean, we all applauded Neymar for his sportsmanship, for just being a good friend. That would have been impossible for Messi to do in Argentina after losing the Copa America final. If he would have done the same thing, Messi would have been fried in Argentina. It's impossible. That is, unfortunately, how we feel that rivalry. And Brazilians, and I was there for the final of Copa Libertadores, they do, they really do like Messi, even though, of the big rivalry that Brazil and Argentina has. It would be...
because of his relationship with Neymar.
Yeah. It would be such a gift for humanity if that happens, that the Brazilian fans applaud Messi. Because that's the way really football should be. It's not life and death. And here you are, you have the greatest player of his time playing in the biggest stadium in the world, the most iconic stadium in the world against Brazil. If he gets applauded and a standing ovation, I think that will be more. That will be the story of the match itself. Forget about the result.
Can I say amen? God, that would be just a symbol of hope that the world needs, football giving a sense that anything is possible. And I cannot wait to watch the entire game tomorrow with you commentating. We do need to acknowledge Argentina coming to this game fresh off their first defeat in 25 games and first since winning the World Cup. They lost 2-0 to Uruguay. Bielsa ball, Darwin Núñez, fine. Second goal, Brazil. Also shocked against Luis Diaz, another Liverpool striker, in the most emotional scenes against Colombia. But for Argentina, was it always a worry that the peak is finally over, that it's an inevitable descent from here on in, or is that just heresy for me to say that to you?
No, usually, and I've been saying this, and it's a very good point, usually after winning the World Cup, there's a natural letdown emotionally, because the players feel that they have peaked and there's nothing else to play for to win, because you've won the biggest prize of them all. Yet, I am highly surprised at how well this team has responded after winning the World Cup. Like you said, they had just lost their first match after the World Cup against Uruguay. This is a very young team comprised of very young players: Julian Alvarez, Enzo Fernandez, Alexis McAllister, Cuti Romero. They're all, no more than 24. So I think they still have the hunger, and they've been playing very, very good. The other day against Uruguay, they played a bad game, but, everyone is allowed a bad game. And I think this team, with or without Messi, I think they really have a chance to reach the final in 2026. Signed, Andres Cantor, November 20th, 2022.
Nico, I hope you just listened to what your dad said. Very quickly, can we get a score prediction?
I really hope that the Brazilian fans do applaud Messi and give him a standing ovation. That will be my prediction.
What will your goal call be if Lionel Messi scores the winner in the 97th minute?
Oh, it will be it will be a big call, but not because Messi, because like I said, I mean there's history to be written over there by Argentina. If that happens, and if it would be the other way around, don't get me wrong. If it would be the other way around, Brazil winning and breaking or smashing a record that Argentina has held for so long, my emotion would be the same. I mean, and for people that don't believe me, just go back to tape of the World Cup final and see how the Mbappe goals came out. I mean, they came out with as much raw emotion because I try to process everything inside, but I do not forget for a minute, the impact that or the magnitude of the game that I'm calling. And when Mbappe tied it at 2-2 and tied it at 3-3, my audience deserves the best of me.
It will be a goal call that doesn't need a microphone to be audible all around the world. You can catch Andres on the call, Argentina going into Brazil tomorrow, Tuesday, November 21st, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Telemundo and Universo. Andres, your voice has been punctuating football in this country for nearly 4 decades. It is genuinely an honour to just revel in it all with you today. Your view of how giddily infectious football can be, defining the sport in this nation. I just say, I wish I had a mate. I would raise it to you to the next 4 decades of your beautiful tones emanating from our television screens, thrilling us, tingling up and down our spines. Andreas, to you,
Roger,
health, happiness. Thank you.
thank you. Same to you. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to everybody that is listening, watching, and please let me know in advance when you're in Miami. I will take my mate to Banchero and we will have pizza and mate, okay? On me.